Juries don't like liars. Trials are about credibility.
How far does Hollywood power truly extend? New footage has emerged, shaking the industry and raising serious questions about influence, control, and the legal battles surrounding Blake Lively. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are not just Hollywood A-listers, they are a power couple with immense influence in the entertainment industry. With a combined net worth in the hundreds of millions, top-tier connections, and the ability to sway media narratives, they have often been able to control their public perception. Their friendships with high-profile figures, including executives, journalists, and politicians, give them access to resources that few others can match. The fourth revelation that came to light is that Sony informed them that there would be a cast-wide boycott if James Heath or Justin Baldoni attended the premiere. How's that for a statement? Actually, we learned that on July 23, 2024, Sony informed Wayfarer, the studio financing the premiere and most of the film, that Lively had demanded Baldoni, Heath, and Wayfarer refrain from attending the New York premiere and threatened a cast-wide boycott if they did. "Oh, this is really Justin's fault. I need to man up and accept, the public noticing some things, but you're wrong," they said. Publicly, they basically commanded to gaslight the public while behind the scenes we act awful. That was the instruction. This kind of brings in the Brandon Senior piece because I have been amazed at how involved he got and how the cast just knew that Justin was a good person but went along with this anyways. I had reduced this to essentially AESS syndrome, like all these people who, if you even aspire to be a Hollywood actor or actress, in most circumstances, you're dealing with someone who probably has some narcissistic tendencies. I'm not saying everyone, but the majority. This is why we have these stereotypes about Hollywood. A 2016 interview with journalist K.Y. Flar has recently gained attention again, portraying Lively in a less than flattering light. The interview, conducted during the Café Society press tour, was marked by tension, with Lively sarcastically responding to F's congratulatory remark about her pregnancy. "Now, when I look at it, it's even more evident that they were just completely ignoring me," said the interviewer. "If you watch this clip, I'm going to show you, it's about 1.5 minutes long. Blake Lively does not look at me one single time until the end." Okay, here we go. It's always nice to see that your idea of someone isn't always who they actually are, but you're pleasantly surprised. We just inundated with a lot of material you can read about these people and think that you know them. The spectacle of what we do as actors has risen a lot more in the past decade than ever before. Misconceptions, like I think people think if you're rich and famous, you're happy, that's probably the biggest. And we see that fame and success is a burden as much as it is a blessing. I think people think, "Oh, if only I was recognized for what I do," she added. In August 2024, Fla uploaded new footage from the interview to her YouTube channel, describing it as the most uncomfortable interview situation I have ever experienced. The video gained over 5 million views, sparking discussions about Lively's behavior. People questioned whether Lively's team had previously suppressed media coverage of such incidents to protect her image and whether she is currently doing it to try and fight the bad image her most recent controversy has created. "But I really do want to talk about this," they said. Yeah, Blake Lively's attorney is now warning content creators that are parroting Justin Baldon's lines. It all comes in this document that we did talk about. I think this came out yesterday during the live, and if you missed yesterday's live with Zach, we had a wonderful time with Zach Peter, hope to get him back. They wanted to go through some of this because there's so much nonsense in this talk, and as Deadline here does, it breaks down very well. It's just so much back and forth. Ultimately, they're just trying to agree on protective orders, which there should be some sort of protective order, no one's denying that. But no one wants to give, and honestly, Blake's asking for too much, in my opinion. She wants all celebrity correspondence to be private, it's called AEO, which is attorney's eyes only. All sorts of private mentions from celebrities, etc., should be only for the attorneys. It's like, girl, no. You published his text messages. Can we just hold on, Blake? You published his text messages in a complaint that wasn't even a lawsuit and then gave it to the New York Times before you filed it officially. You're despicable and a massive hypocrite. Reports have suggested that Baldoni and his team sought to discredit Lively through media leaks and legal action. At the same time, Lively's allies, including her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and her publicist, Leslie Sloan, allegedly worked to undermine Baldoni's reputation. Lively's Hollywood status and network of elite friends make it plausible that media narratives could be shaped in her favor. Why is she there? Because Ryan wanted him to. He wanted to isolate him. I want you to understand that. This is what really bugs me about this. This is narcissistic abuse. He wanted him to feel alone, like he had no one on his side, and the means for him to attain that was through his wealth and the AESS clientele that he surrounds himself with. You know, me and Hugh are going to be on the set promoting your film, making fun of you. Think about that for a second. This kind of throws me back to the real hero in all this, Martha Stewart. A while ago, she went on some show to promote something, one thing or another. She basically said that she knows Ryan, and he's not a funny guy. She was essentially alerting the public to the fact that Ryan Reynolds is kind of a psycho. She didn't say it outright, but she made it clear that he's pretty serious. It was as if she was letting people know that he puts on this persona as a funny, nice guy, but this isn't who he is. Listen to what Martha Stewart had to say on a random game show when Lee asked Bill's members which celebrities would be the most fun to hang out with. He said Ryan Reynolds is probably on the list just because he covers himself up in his movies and you don't see his face. But she revealed that Ryan Reynolds is not so funny. A new development in the case emerged when leaked audio from the Freakonomics podcast featured Ari Emanuel, CEO of Endeavor, openly discussing the legal battle. In the recording, Emanuel confirmed that he personally terminated Baldoni's contract with WME, citing his close friendship with Lively and Reynolds as a reason. This admission significantly strengthened Baldoni's defamation lawsuit, as it established a direct link between the public allegations and the financial losses he suffered. This is exactly what happened. Ari Emanuel, who is Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' agent, spoke very negatively about Justin Baldoni, calling him all sorts of names. He leveled harsh criticisms at him, all while continuing to defame Justin. This is an agent, mind you, who has not yet publicly dropped Diddy but dropped Justin Baldoni because Blake and Ryan made him. As articles have come out, it turns out more and more that WME was pretty much forced by Ryan and Blake to drop Justin, so his insight is very interesting. I had been waiting to report on this until we could get the audio from the podcast itself, but then something happened, it wasn't recorded. Listen to this. When our excellent editor, Ellen Frankman, came up to me with a look on her face that I couldn't quite figure out, I realized in retrospect she looked really ill. She was shaky, her face was pale, and I asked her what was wrong. She told me that, in addition to the earlier audio failures, there was a bigger failure: the show had not been recorded. Curiously, the Freakonomics podcast episode featuring Emanuel was never officially released due to a technical failure that allegedly erased both audio and video recordings. However, a journalist present at the live taping captured the conversation, ensuring Emanuel's statements became public. This raises ethical concerns about media manipulation, especially considering Emanuel's vast influence within Hollywood. I know where you're going with this one. Do you have notes on it? Oh, yeah, those are the two things I said to myself this could come up. He brought notes on it, so this was all arranged. Okay, I have to admit, I don't keep up much on Hollywood, but even I caught wind of the whole Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds situation. Let the record show, for those listening at home, Ari Emanuel just slit his throat, metaphorically speaking. It's a really bad situation that Baldoni is dealing with. It's a messed up situation, whatever his name is doing. What a scumbag you are, and he was your client too until I fired him, right? Did you hear that? I fired him. Yeah, he was. I fired him because you didn't even know his name. It's so disrespectful. Just give a little background, it's not really fair. I've known Ryan and Blake for over a decade. They're really incredible people in Hollywood. They have been incredibly successful. People work with them. They've never had any bad mojo out there and treated people badly. Baldoni is also suing the New York Times, alleging that the publication coordinated its article against him well in advance, potentially in collaboration with Lively's team. While defamation cases against major outlets are notoriously difficult to win, TikTok sleuths have unearthed inconsistencies in the timeline. Even if Baldoni does not win the lawsuit, it could serve as a PR strategy to challenge media bias and protect his reputation. I'll go to my friends at the New York Times. I'll do this. She has a relationship with this writer, Megan Twohey, and the team behind this whole article. The metadata shows that they were working on it months before it actually came out. They took this civil complaint and basically just printed all of Blake's stuff. The New York Times hit Baldoni hard, especially the fact that he hired Brian Friedman, who had recorded everything, texts, emails, saving them in a file. This made it very easy for Brian Friedman to pull together 170 pages of every interaction, which he later published. Sadly, she puts out this big thing in the New York Times that slams Baldoni, but Baldoni had backup receipts to show exactly each interaction and what actually happened, and it just backfired on her. Ryan Reynolds, who often stands by Lively during public controversies, was notably absent from the South by Southwest premiere of A Simple Favor, leading to speculation. Some theorized that internal tensions or legal concerns played a role. Reynolds' vast business empire, including his lucrative stake in Aviation Gin and ownership of Wrexham AFC, places him among Hollywood's most powerful figures, someone capable of pulling strings behind the scenes. Apparently, during the SNL appearance, SNL was a test to see how fans would react to them. It was their first outing together since Blake filed, and it did not bode well for them. Ryan and Blake both now realize if their careers are to survive, they cannot be involved in the same projects because everything will be heavily scrutinized. Now, I would argue even their solo projects will be scrutinized. You guys clearly aren't backing down, and I hear why. I am too. If they really played the power moves that they did and lied, shame on them, of course, but I don't fault him for not showing up because I agree with this reasoning. It would have been even more intense, more scrutinized, and I think they need to do their separate appearances if necessary. It really is about protecting their separate incomes. The source explained that Blake is unsure about the future of her career because of the backlash she has received. She doesn't want to have a family with no income, and she knows Ryan's career has so far survived the fallout. I would agree with that. He's still going to be Deadpool, he's not going to lose gigs. I do think Blake will have a tougher time getting gigs, not because of any retaliation campaign but because of her demanding authorship. Go make your own movies, Blake. Go make your own movie. Leslie Sloan, Lively's longtime publicist, has been at the center of the legal dispute. Baldoni's lawsuit accuses Sloan of orchestrating defamatory media coverage to protect Lively's reputation. Given that Hollywood publicists specialize in managing scandals, it's not unthinkable that behind-the-scenes damage control efforts were in play. I want to hear it all. Okay, this is like we're never going to get the opportunity to just really see inside Hollywood in this way. You know what I'm saying? We're never going to be able to see it. So anyway, you should know that they went to court, the lawyers went to court, and they were representing their clients. This was not an appearance from Blake Lively or Ryan Reynolds, and essentially, I'm just going to sum up what happened. No gag order will be granted. Blake Lively moved forward with her lawyer speaking out, stating that she did not want to be deposed by Brian Friedman. This is a super weird request from Brady, which is not going to play well in the press. Once again, she has what I consider to be the worst PR team in the entire world. I truly believe Stephanie Sloan PR, or rather Leslie Sloan PR, is terrible. The moves they are making here, trying to paint her as a victim, show they are out of touch with current culture. They don't get how the #MeToo movement has evolved, and trying to pretend you're being victimized just because you have to go to court over a lawsuit you filed because you don't like the lawyer is just dumb, really dumb stuff. My understanding is that Leslie Sloan has a connection at The Hollywood Reporter, which means articles get leaked to The Hollywood Reporter and Page 6. Those are her people. Lively's public image has long been one of grace and charm, but this ongoing legal drama is threatening to reshape perceptions. While she remains a beloved figure to many, the resurfaced interview and legal battles cast doubt on whether her team has successfully controlled her narrative. If allegations of industry manipulation hold any weight, it could significantly impact her standing in Hollywood. Blake Lively continues to make headlines. She once said, "You think I want to make you pay? This was my first time as a villain. I think about her all the time," referring to the character she plays in A Simple Favor. Now, we're getting a first look at the sequel, Another Simple Favor, full of revenge, betrayal, and killer Italian fashion, which Blake serves up alongside co-star Anna Kendrick. There's some real darkness in the sequel, and you're going to see what I mean. Of course, as the It Ends With Us legal war continues, there are challenges in promoting the film. It was just the best experience, but the studio turned off comments on the movie's trailer after trolls slammed the poster on Instagram. Some of the comments were things like, "Did we rewrite a scene?" and "How's it going? Great. What have you heard?" The sequel opens in 9 days at the South by Southwest Film and TV Festival. The red carpet will not be live-streamed, and it's unclear if Blake will do interviews at the festival or even for the movie itself, which is yet another PR crisis. New viral videos have emerged of celebrities coming for Ryan, including the Jersey Shore cast. One former co-star, Matthew Lawrence, said, "I did do a movie with him, and it was a total schlub." The funny part about it is that the production team was having a hard time with the case heading to trial in March 2026. Both sides are preparing for a high-profile showdown, and if evidence emerges of deliberate media manipulation or legal strong-arming, it could change the way Hollywood power dynamics are viewed. The trial may expose not only the inner workings of the entertainment industry but also the extent to which wealth and connections can shape public perception. Regardless of the trial's outcome, the Lively Baldoni legal battle has already highlighted the immense influence that A-list celebrities wield. Whether it's controlling media coverage, swaying public opinion, or leveraging elite networks, this case serves as a reminder that in Hollywood, power often extends far beyond the big screen. Unfortunately, we all know the name Colleen Hoover, and that's because she has been involved in the background of the It Ends With Us controversy. This legal dispute between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively began early on when Colleen made it very clear that she was on Blake's side, which really rubbed people the wrong way. She's now gone silent, but recently reappeared on Instagram with a fresh approach. This led me to dive into her past, and it turns out she's pretty problematic. I don't know if you guys have seen her movie, but if you have, comment below. When it comes to her books, they are mostly aimed at young adult women, who are influenced by these romanticized stories of abuse. Colleen has written several books that often include extensive character trauma, emotional, mental, and physical abuse, questionable consent, and in a few cases, almost but not quite incest. Many of her male characters exhibit misogynistic behavior that gets excused because of their attractive appearance or their sexual power. As new footage, allegations, and legal filings continue to surface, the world is watching to see how this high-stakes battle unfolds. Whether Lively and Reynolds successfully navigate this controversy or face lasting reputational damage remains to be seen. One thing is certain, their wealth, influence, and industry connections will play a crucial role in shaping the final narrative. We know that Colleen Hoover wrote another line into the script to mock the circumstances surrounding everything that was going on, but when you zoom in on her face in that moment and see Kevin Nur looking down during that SML moment, she doesn't look comfortable. She looks anxious, like she doesn't really want to be out in public when she knows that the public doesn't like her. We saw something similar at the South by Southwest event. Some people are noticing that she's rambling when speaking on stage to the point of almost incoherency, clearly trying to deal with her anxiety. I'll give you a sample of that. Take a listen to what she said. What happens in the third one? No, I'm joking, and, honestly, so Paul, we really wanted to make this second movie, and I was like, Paul, he wanted to shoot in Capri, and I was like, that sounds amazing, but it's very expensive, so let's just shoot in Connecticut where the first one took place. I didn't understand why it needed to be Capri. And now I want to live there. I love it so much. It's magical, and they sell hats, these crazy beautiful hats. It was just a hat in a store like humans buy that. She's definitely rambling, and you can sense she's uncomfortable. There's a lot of hand movement. But I'll also add that even when you see her walking the red carpet, she's suddenly very nice to fans. It's a totally different Blake Lively, and she seems so grateful for every fan that comes up to her asking for a picture and a hug. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this crazy saga. We'll keep you posted as more information comes to light. Until next time.